영어 회화 Level 3 Power English.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Cho.
And I'm Cameron Word.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
On Power English today, we have a special article for you. Every Saturday, the weekend, let's take a break from the dialogue. Okay? Let's get something more current event sort of feel. So the topic is empty houses are becoming a problem for Japan.
Yeah.
So we see this in the news, the aging population, empty houses. I mean, even in Italy, many parts of the world.
Yeah, several countries that are dealing with empty houses.
Yeah. So when I see this, I have this urge, this instinct, sort of I want to go there. I want to be in that empty house. But then if you think about it, would you? Would you move all the way across to Italy, or would you go to Japan and stay in that empty house?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, if I lived in America and was choosing to live in another country, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm already living
in a foreign country.
Yes. So I don't know, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, agreed.
So, and plus, these empty houses, a lot of them are in very bad conditions.
Right.
So you buy the house, but then you have to
spend a lot
fix the house.
Money. Yeah, that's right.
Spend a lot of money. Yeah. And I don't know if I would want to do that in a foreign country.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. But I have to say that a lot of Americans are actually taking up on the government's offer.
Yeah.
Places like Italy and even in Japan.
Yeah.
And just taking over these empty houses and fixing them up because it's still cheaper than a house in America.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a great way if you're trying to maybe live abroad, live outside of the United States.
Okay.
That's a good way to do it.
Okay. So anyway, the population of Japan, as in Korea too, is declining and young people want to live in the city. So we have these empty houses.
Yes.
Let's look at some expressions that we're going to cover today. Grapple with something. Grapple. To grapple with something.
You're struggling with something. There is a problem and you're trying to deal with it.
Right. Pass down something.
This is to give to the younger generation.
And raise the risk.
Raise the risk is you are going to have the risk of something happening.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that things will go badly.
Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and listen to our article. As Japan grapples with a declining population, it is also confronted with the side effect of vacant houses and apartments. While it used to be most common in rural areas, it is also being seen in cities like Tokyo and Osaka. With declining birth rates over the past 50 years, there are fewer people for the elderly to pass down a property to. The problem for the government is no longer a lack of housing, but a lack of people. This raises the risk of a fall in property prices in an already challenged economy. Here we go. Empty houses are becoming a problem for Japan. Let's begin. As Japan grapples with a declining population, it is also confronted with a side effect of vacant houses and apartments. Okay, let's break this up. And this also applies to Korea. We are grappling with a declining population.
Yes.
So, not a lot of babies are being born. And older people we have more older people.
Right.
So grapple with.
Yes. So to grapple means to fight with, to struggle with, but grapple is a specific type of fighting.
Oh, what do you mean?
Which I think is important for the imagery.
Okay.
So for people that do judo, you may know this word. To grapple is not like you're punching and kicking.
Yeah.
You are grabbing the person. You're either standing up Or you're on the floor.
Yes.
And you're trying to turn the person over.
Right.
You're trying to hold them and keep them from moving. Mm-hmm. That is the imagery of grappling.
Yeah.
So it's not like boxing where you're just like punch.
It's like jiu-jitsu.
Right. It's
judo.
like jiu-jitsu or judo.
Yeah.
Where you're like rolling on the floor, wrestling.
Yeah.
That's grappling.
Oh.
So when you're grappling with a problem, you're really getting dirty, trying to deal with this problem.
Right. That's very good imagery. Mm-hmm. So they are grappling with the declining population. They are trying to deal with this, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
But it's also confronted with the side effect of vacant houses. But they also have another problem, which is the side effect.
Yeah.
This is like the result of a declining population, is that there are vacant houses.
Yes.
V-A-C-A-N-T, vacant.
Right. Vacant here means empty, but it's specifically for human-related things. Mm-hmm. There are no humans here.
Yeah.
So you can have a vacant house. Mm-hmm. No humans in this house. Mm-hmm. You can have a vacant seat. Mm-hmm. There is no person in the seat. Mm-hmm. You can also have a vacant look.
Ooh.
And that means it seems like there is no person there.
It's like just...
Yeah, the look on your face is so empty.
Yeah.
It's as if you're not thinking.
Right.
So it's a vacant look.
Yes. And you'll see some signs in America when you go and there are apartments. It's like, vacancy or no vacancy.
Yeah.
It means that we have some empty units.
Yes.
Empty apartments.
Yeah. You might also see it for hotels.
Hotels, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
While it used to be most common in rural areas, it is also being seen in cities like Tokyo and Osaka.
Interesting. So, while it used to be is our power pattern today.
While it used to be, you're giving the situation of the past.
Okay.
While it used to be.
It was like
in
this.
In the past, it was this way. But now it has changed.
So not just like 시골 areas, right? Like rural areas, countryside.
Yeah.
But it's being seen in places like Tokyo and Osaka.
Yeah.
So they're saying that there are empty places in Tokyo and Osaka.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. With declining birth rates over the past 50 years, there are fewer people for the elderly to pass down a property to.
Yes.
Okay. So there are fewer people for the elderly to pass down a property to. So the older senior citizens, they want to pass down their house or apartment.
Yes.
And so what is this pass down?
So to pass down, in Korean you would say 물려주다.
Yes.
So to pass down to a younger generation.
Yeah.
So we often see this with inheritance. Things that a family owns and they pass down to their children, their grandchildren. They're passing it down. This can also just mean to pass down a line.
Yeah.
So if a teacher gives one student 50 papers and says, pass down the papers, each student grabs one
and then passes
it down to the next person.
That's right.
So that is also how this phrase can be used. But in this one specifically, we are talking about a grandma or grandpa giving it to their son or daughter, grandson, granddaughter.
Right. It's like one person is giving something to the other.
Yeah.
And it goes and continues.
Right.
Okay. The problem for the government is no longer a lack of housing, but a lack of people.
Wow.
And I just heard, about how in California they have a severe problem with homelessness.
Yeah.
And that they're saying they're actually giving homeless people bus tickets to go to other places because California has a lack of housing. So here you have this country, like in Japan, where there's like a lack of people.
Right.
There's a lot of housing.
Yeah.
It's quite ironic. It continues, this raises the risk of a fall in property prices in an already challenged economy. Okay. It raises the risk of fall in property prices.
Yes. Raise the risk means to increase the possibility of something bad happening.
Yes.
It's not 100% going to be bad, but it makes it more likely.
Right.
It raises the risk.
And the risk is they're afraid that housing prices are going to fall even more.
Right. Wait, isn't that another ironic thing?
Yeah.
You're trying to solve one problem and it causes another problem.
Yeah.
Because people buy land or they buy their house.
Right.
But if the value goes away, that doesn't mean that the loan goes away.
Right.
Like the loan they had to get from the bank.
Yeah, right.
So it'll still be super expensive.
Gosh, just can't win. All right, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time. As Japan grapples with a declining population, it is also confronted with the side effect of vacant houses and apartments. While it used to be most common in rural areas, it is also being seen in cities like Tokyo and Osaka. With declining birth rates over the past 50 years, there are fewer people for the elderly to pass down a property to. The problem for the government is no longer a lack of housing, but a lack of people. This raises the risk of a fall in property prices in an already challenged economy. It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 130 and 31. So we're going to give you some example sentences and an example dialogue using these expressions.
Yes.
The first one is grapple with something, means that you are having a difficult time managing. Think of Cameron's example, judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. You're kind of fighting, but it's like more of not like punching, but just like
you're on the ground.
On the ground.
In the dirt.
Trying to figure this out.
Rolling around.
Okay. What's Mikey crying about?
He's grappling with his frustration over not being able to walk yet. Oh, so it's like a child.
Yeah.
Whenever
It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they fall. They can't get back up.
I can't imagine. I mean, we were all children at some point.
Sure.
But remember whenever you can't really speak, right?
Yeah.
But you have emotions.
Right.
And you don't know what those emotions are.
I know.
Because it's the first time you felt that emotion.
I know. It's so crazy.
That has to be so frustrating.
Right.
To grapple with those emotions.
Yes, it's very true.
You don't understand yourself. You don't understand the world. You're hungry.
Let me tell you, though, Cameron, you think that is for children? Raise a teenage son. Raise teenagers, and it comes back all again.
I mean, it's true. I guess I do remember as a teenager, you just get so emotional.
You do.
For no reason.
I know. All right. The technician was grappling with computer issues.
Oh, like whenever your computer has a problem. And you don't know what the problem is.
Right. So, yes, that's right. So it's not just about I'm having computer issues. If you're grappling with them, you just can't seem to figure it out.
Yeah.
So when you're grappling with a really difficult math problem, it's like you try this and you try that and just still...
You gotta make it work.
Yeah.
So there is the feeling that you are trying to do something. If the problem is hard... But you have given up.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
Right.
That is not grappling with.
No.
So there are things, for example, people who are grappling with a disease.
Yes.
Something like a really bad disease that they have.
Yes.
They're trying to get over it.
Yeah.
Or they're like, no, I'm going
to fight it. Yeah.
There's that feeling of fighting it. But let's be honest, some people give up.
Yeah.
They still have the disease, but they're not fighting it.
Yeah, they're not grappling with it.
They're not grappling with it anymore.
Very good.
Right.
If you pass down something, it means to give something to someone after you die or before.
Yeah, it's more, there is a sense of I'm going to die.
The end of your life.
The end is coming.
Yes, that's
so I'm going to give it to the next generation.
That's right. Where did you get that beautiful bracelet?
My grandmother passed it down to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Parents like to pass down their knowledge to the next generation.
Oh, so this is not an object. It's knowledge that they're passing down.
Yeah.
Like you can pass down a recipe.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, my mother passed down her kimchi recipe to me.
Oh.
And I'm making kimchi every year.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I didn't learn, it would just disappear.
Yeah, it would just go away.
Yeah.
So this doesn't have to be just like jewels or things like that.
Yeah.
It can be knowledge. And it doesn't have to necessarily be like a grandmother or grandfather giving it to their grandson.
Yeah.
It could be, let's say, in like high school, maybe the senior, the
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is graduating and going to college.
Yes.
So they will pass down their jersey.
Yeah.
To the younger people.
Right.
It's just like their high school life is ending.
That's
right. So they're passing it down to the younger students.
That's right. So you can, it's not just a grandmother passing something down to their children or their grandchildren. Okay, very good. If you raise the risk, it means that you are increasing the chance of something bad happening.
Yes.
Okay? Why don't you want me to wear my expensive watch?
Because you raise the risk of getting robbed in the city.
Okay. When you travel, you got to be very careful with your jewelry. Yeah. It's best not to wear it.
It is true, yeah.
You raise the risk of getting sick if you don't wash your hands more often.
Yeah. Especially in times like winter when there is a lot of sickness.
Yeah.
You go inside, you wash your hands.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then there's always these sort of studies or reports about, you raise the risk of cancer or disease if you're exposed to, or with this kind of diet or exposed to pollution, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay. Power pattern. Well, it used to be. So this is a nice way of saying, well, it used to be like this, but now it's not.
It's different.
While it used to be the mother's job, couples now share parenting duties.
While it used to be common to buy a real newspaper, now they're mostly digital.
Yeah. So you're showing the contrast by using this pattern.
It used to be one way, now it is different.
This way. Okay. Vacant is our power vocab on page 132. There's a nice definition on top. And we like to do a little power practice. So take the Korean and try to see if you can put this into English.
우리는 모두 때때로 감정적인 문제와 씨름한다.
씨름한다. Yes.
Grapple with something.
Grapple with something. So try to translate this into English. Okay. Now, what else do we need to do?
We need to go to audio 학당.
Right now.
And for a small fee.
Yeah.
Listen to all the great shows on EBS.
That's right. All right. So do that, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.